this feels like classic Star Wars, and I'm kind of really digging it. And I didn't realize how much I missed that feeling of classic Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It did
Yeah.
feel like classic Star Wars. It was
Yes.
just, it was awesome. Let's get into the show.
Okay. So, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
First 4 episodes. So, real quick, I'm going to have a little rant on Disney Plus because I've been having app issues on Disney Plus and it's been pissing me off. This beginning rant has nothing to do with the quality of the show. But I've been trying to watch this series for I could spend probably about a half hour trying to watch this series probably over the past week. Because I'll click on it and Disney Plus crashes or it resets or it goes back to the opening page. And I probably did that at least a dozen times, probably taking a half hour to wait for everything to load, trying to watch this series. And it's really frustrating to pay for a service and then not have that service fucking work. That is obnoxious and ridiculous. And I feel a lot of these, frankly, it's a symptom of late stage capitalism. A lot of these big companies are just collecting money and don't care at all about the service they provide. Just take the money and run, essentially. And it's pissing me off. Any late stage capitalism rant you want to dive in, Bobby? Are you ready for the show?
No. I'm good.
All right. So
come November, though, I will get my soapbox out. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ahsoka. I have 2 minor complaints about this series, but I would say overall, I'm kind of loving it and digging the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Bobby?
I'm kind of liking where the story's going so far.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm invested. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, I mean, essentially, we know the bad guys' plans and we know elements of what they're doing, but we don't know exactly how point A goes to point B, and they're leaving just enough out that's really making the mystery interesting.
Yeah, they're not making this one as predictable as they have in some of their Star Wars series in the past.
Well, I would definitely say this is my favorite of the Star Wars series outside of possibly Andor, from what I've seen so far. I said I have 2 quibbles. The first essentially being mainly from the first episode. This series, we're dealing with lots of characters from animation getting recast into live action and brought to life. And essentially, the first episode is kind of bringing us up to characters like kind of Ahsoka, although we saw her in The Mandalorian, but mostly characters like Sabine Wren, Hera Syndulla, I want to say is the Twi'lek general, and Ezra Bridger, characters from animation. I guess to a degree, Admiral Thrawn, although I read the Timothy Zahn books a long time ago, so I have a decent knowledge of him. But it seems like this series is kind of a sequel to not just Mandalorian, but also Star Wars Rebels, which was an animated series that I have not seen.
I have not either.
So this is what I like about this series. I was going through the things I was not thrilled with. So the thing I mainly wasn't thrilled with was how Sabine was introduced. It was one of the most cliche, predictable introductions ever. It's like her being the rebel and running off, and actually kind of remind me of kind of like Kirk in Star Trek 2009, where he's stealing the car almost, just that type of shit. And he Star Trek 2009 at least was for its time, even though now it feels a little dated. But here it just feels a little not the greatest introduction. The other thing I have an issue with is there's a scene where their ship is powerless and Ahsoka goes out onto the wing, and I assume she's going to use the Force to try to ward off the enemy ships, but instead the enemy ships decide to shoot at her and she deflects it with her lightsaber, which seems weird. I don't know why the enemy ships don't just shoot at the ship. And that's the thing. I was expecting him to shoot at the ship and her use the Force to deflect those in some way, but instead they shot at her, which felt weird. So I feel like that scene could have been better handled. That's about it. Like I said, one thing I love about this series. Well, I guess, Bobby, do you have any complaints before I go into what I love?
No.
Okay. Well, here's what I love. I love that this, like, right from the beginning, we have a text scroll, even though it's not traditional text scroll. And then we get introduced to, like, some of our villains and on a New Republic ship just causing chaos. And the tone of it reminds me so much of the tone of, like, the original trilogy movies, like the beginning of A New Hope, where, like, there's these guys coming on board this ship, and we're pretty sure they're bad guys. And yeah, of course they are. And like, I love the mystery aspect here, where we get essentially our three main characters, which are Ahsoka, Hera, and Sabine, trying to figure out why these Jedi are after this map. And I guess Jedi won't be quite the right term. I guess they'll probably have to dive into that, because I've noticed their lightsabers are orange. Did you notice that, Bobby?
Yeah, though they looked red to me. But no, I did not notice.
I didn't really notice it until they were next to a red lightsaber, and I realized, hey, their lightsabers are actually orange. So I'm not sure what that means. There's probably a deeper dive we could do into lore and figure that out. But I'm kind of assuming the series will explain it.
Well, I mean, either that or that's just the color of the crystal that they have. The kyber
Oh, well, I'm sure it's the color of the crystal they have, but I'm kind of assuming it identifies something else.
I'm trying to think, because the only time I've seen, like, any other than outside the red, blue, green,
and
white. I've seen the whites before, but
yeah.
Would be in, like, the Fallen Order game, because you can get different colored crystals, and
That's
orange
right,
is one of them in that. And as well as purple, but
yeah,
I forget what orange means though.
Yeah, I imagine it means something. I know in the games you kind of just choose whatever color you want.
Yeah, you just pick whatever you want. Usually it means
something a bit more thematic in the actual media.
I know, like, the first time I figured that out, mine was pretty awesome.
Yeah. What was yours?
Red and green.
Nice.
And then I just went with purple and green, and killed some stormtroopers.
Hey, I will say that Samuel L. Jackson had it kind of awesome, because purple was such a cool color to have.
Yeah, but purple and green just go very well together.
It sounds like it would go well together. Well, I played Star Wars Galaxies, and you could... No, it wasn't Galaxies. It was It was the Old Republic, and you made your own lightsaber then, and you could figure out what crystal you wanted in. That was cool. But yeah, this series we're getting lots of different color crystals, and yeah, like I said, like, I didn't realize how much I missed just well done lightsaber fights, and we're getting lots of that here. Like, this feels like an epic Star Wars story. It really does. We have lots of Jedis learning. We have dark Jedis. This, like, as much as I like stuff like Andor and Last Jedi and Force Awakens, this is probably the most Star Wars feeling I've had since the original trilogy, just watching this. And I'm not saying this is even better than any of the things I just mentioned. I'd probably say I prefer Andor to this, but, like, I didn't realize how much I missed just that classic Star Wars feeling, and this one is hitting that itch really well. I like the new characters. I want to give a shout out, because I didn't realize until a couple episodes in. Do you know who plays the main android, Huang?
Fucking David Tennant.
Yes.
I was actually just about to say that. Yeah. When I was watching it this morning with the wife and I, we were both like, "Wait, David Tennant's in this? Maybe he does the voice of one of the droids or something." And then, like,
yeah, exactly.
Droid came the next episode. I go, yep, right there. Yeah,
I think the end of the first episode, I think he got like 4th or 5th credit. It was pretty high credit, and I was like, really? He's a substantial role. Who is he played? Is he the droid? And then the next episode, the droid came up, and I heard the voice. And I went, oh shit, yep, that's David Tennant for that's fucking
definitely
sure.
Tennant,
yeah. Yes. So, like, and I will say that's a really good droid too. I as far as droid characters, that's definitely one I like. I like how blunt he is, honestly. He's kind of carelessly blunt, but like there's almost a point to it, so it kind of works. Yeah, just Star Wars knocking it out of the park with great droid characters again. Good work, Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is a really good show. I'm really looking forward to the next episode, honestly, because honestly, these first 4 episodes left off with a hell of a cliffhanger. This was everything kind of fell apart at the end of this one. And that's the thing. We're seeing like all these characters have different motivations. Obviously, like Hera, the Twi'lek general, is just looking to help the New Republic. Ahsoka just wants to make sure General Thrawn never comes back. And Sabine just wants to make sure Ezra, who I assume is her friend from the other series, comes back. So they all have these different motivations. And you can see how, even though at first they're all working together, there's conflict with those different motivations. And I'm really interested to see how it plays out. But yes, fantastic show. Do you have anything to add, Bobby?
No. I will agree. The spaceship battle scene was a little like, the fuck.
Yeah. I was hoping for something really badass. Like she's like, I'm stepping out. I'm just like, I'll buy you some time. And I was like, oh, she gonna like force move the ships or block phase? Yeah. No. Instead, I
am a little disappointed how they ended that season or episode 4, though. A little disappointed with how they ended that, with kind of on that cliffhanger almost.
What? I guess spoilers, because we can go into that. Spoilers. She's on some sort of walkway, which I think I've seen clips of in the animated series, but I don't really know much of. And she, Ahsoka, meets up with Anakin. So we will see how that goes. But yeah, that was an interesting twist at the end of episode 4. CGI Anakin, which I feel like they could be doing that CGI better, but obviously we have lots of union issues now, CGI as well. They need to get unionized so this shit can get better.
Yeah, seriously.
But actually, as far as special effects go, the young Anakin special effect was probably the worst looking one in the entire series. I don't recall anything else standing out. So points on that one. But yeah, this feels like classic Star Wars, and I'm kind of really digging it. And I didn't realize how much I missed that feeling of classic Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree. It did feel like classic Star Wars. It was it was awesome.
Yeah, Jedi versus evil orange-bladed Jedi. Good stuff. I want to see how it plays out. I hope the second half is as good as the first half. As someone who is not familiar with Star Wars Rebels or any of the animated stuff, outside of
I'm slightly familiar with Clone Wars, but not really.
Yeah. Well, I've seen the movie.
The movie, yeah.
That's all I've seen with Clone Wars. So I saw the beginning of Ahsoka's story, but that's it. And to my understanding, the movie is not a good representation of Clone Wars at all.
No.
I've heard lots of people say, oh, that movie's not good. It's like, oh, but you like Clone Wars? Yeah, it's great. Oh, okay.
It made me want to watch the show.
Oh, it did not do that for me. But,
I didn't stay with the show, but
I've heard great things about it. But yeah, I have not watched it either. I will watch Ahsoka for sure. And it does make me interested to dive into Clone Wars and Rebels, honestly. Kind of seeing some of these characters. Because I like these characters so far.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.